These incredible skills that the brain has are going to be atrophying, I really fear. The brain is so much more interesting to me than any piece of technology. I'm sorry. Why aren't they kind of creating their own world, their own myths, their own narrative, a new way of looking at the world? That's what we need from this young generation. It's a disgusting world they've inherited from the boomers, etc. And I can speak that, I am one of them. If I were young, I'd be really angry. I'd be wanting something else. I'd be creating something new. I'd be creating new styles. Now I don't necessarily blame them because it's, looking at that, it's easy to say that. I didn't grow up in the internet generation. I didn't have that kind of effect on my thinking. There should be a real sense of malaise and anger. It's a critical moment. We have to create something new. We have to create a new world order here. Instead, we're creating, I know we're going to get onto this, we're just doing toys, technological toys, AI, etc. We need a cultural movement now, something coming up from the bottom that's going to rescue us in this moment.
You're not an AI fan, right?
No, we were talking about that earlier.
Why not?
Well, you know how some foods can kind of rot out your body, how they're not good for you? They taste good, but they're not really good for you.
Right.
I think of AI in that way.
Okay.
I study a lot of languages. That was sort of my major in college. And I'm thinking back to the moment when I was 19 years old and I was at Berkeley. And I decided on the sudden whim, I was going to take this 6-week course where you learned 1 year of ancient Greek in 6 weeks. It was like the craziest thing I've ever been through, right? Yeah. Every day you had an exam, every Friday you had a final exam. You were thinking, you were dreaming in ancient Greek. It was a fantastic experience, right? And I remember at one point near the end, they gave us a passage of Thucydides, the hardest writer of all to read in ancient Greek. It's just impossible to decipher. I can go into the nuts and bolts of it.
It's not even easy in English.
It's not even easy in English. No, it isn't. You could read a sentence like 20 different ways. So I had this one paragraph, and I must have spent like 10 hours trying to translate one paragraph. I couldn't figure it out. I thought and I thought and I thought. Finally I go, I think this is the answer. And I was kind of excited, and I thought, this is how it's going to work. And I turned it into my professor, this kind of crazy hippie classics professor. And he goes, Robert, I see what you were thinking. I see where you were going. You were almost there, but you missed it. You completely mistranslated this beautiful paragraph, but you were getting at something. And that had an incredible impact on me even to this day. It made me realize that whenever you face a problem that you don't quite understand, you have to think more deeply. You have to use that anxiety of, is this right? No, it's not totally right. I have to go deeper into it, deeper and deeper and deeper. And I use that as a model for all of my work now. When I'm writing a chapter or something, you haven't figured this out. You have to think more about it, right? You don't have it right. What if in that moment, I'd simply pulled out my translation of Thucydides and just copied the paragraph?
Yeah.
Or what if I had ChatGPT and I just put it in there and it gave it to me right away? Yeah. The whole thinking process would have been annihilated right there. Sure. The whole process of the frustration, I can't get it. I'm not good enough. Something's wrong with me. I've got to go further and further and further. It developed character. It developed patience. It developed discipline. It developed self-esteem and humility. There's nothing more humiliating than facing a paragraph for 10 hours and not figuring it out, right?
Sure.
So you've got, kids nowadays who are never going to have that experience. Sure. They're going to be, getting prompts. No one's going to learn a foreign language anymore because you can just go to Mongolia and type in a sentence and ChatGPT will give you the translation.
Sure.
These incredible skills that the brain has are going to be atrophying, I really fear. The brain is so much more interesting to me than any piece of technology. I'm sorry. That's what we should be worshiping, not these little toys that we create.